Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and also thank those of you who are returning for this week's energy update. This is a holiday weekend, so I do want to acknowledge and remember those who gave their lives for their country that have afforded me the freedoms and the sovereignty that I so enjoy. So thank you so much to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for my freedoms. Now, as we know, in the last 24 hours, Jupiter jumped into the sign of Gemini. And I spoke a little bit about the heaviness of this energy last week. And I'd like to clarify that just a bit. The energy itself is not heavy. It's the pivot from very stable Taurian energy to Gemini, very fast-paced, very mind-focused energy, and that shift is really something. The expansion that we're going to be feeling with Jupiter entering the sign, and then Mercury next week, Venus is here, oh my goodness, the Sun. So anyway, Jupiter is in Gemini, and just trust but verify your information, because we all are a little bit more chatty than we were in Taurus, and information is really flying. Just trust your sources. Pluto reminded us when Pluto entered Aquarius and had a conversation with each of our personal planets. That's what we're looking forward to, is authenticity moving forward. And as these planets pivot back, once they get into the sign of Gemini and pivot back to trine Pluto, Pluto's reminding them of that want for authenticity and truth. So now tomorrow, or just after Jupiter steps into the sign of Gemini, it is going to conjunct Sedna. This is basically a collective, because Sedna, because her orbit is so long, 11,300 years, I believe it is. It's a generational planet. It's, way, way out there, beyond Neptune, but it's a generational planet, meaning that this is a collective metamorphosis. And because it's in Gemini, it's a collective metamorphosis of the mind as it relates to isolation, separation, betrayal. Because of Sedna's myth, those topics are to be explored: isolation, separation, betrayal. And it would be preferred that those topics be reviewed using compassion for the purpose of transcendence or transmutation of energy, so that you can transform yourself into a positive aspect of something that left you feeling isolated or separate or betrayed, for that matter. Also on that day, the 27th, we have Mercury in the sign of Taurus is going to sextile Saturn in Pisces. I love this energy. This is the perfect therapy session, if you will. It's like having or hosting deliberate conversations where boundaries are expressed. It's a very healthy conversation, and those boundaries are respected for the purpose of long-term stability and success. This really is, it's very much like a therapy session. Perhaps if you have been betrayed or isolated, or having some of the issues that Sedna faced, this therapy session that you could have with a trusted friend, advisor, spiritual teacher, therapist would be very helpful. So just, I really do enjoy that energy. Anytime Mercury can sextile Saturn, you're saying all the right things. You know when you're not supposed to say things, and you can work with those boundaries really, really well. Then on Wednesday of this week, which I believe is the 29th already, we have Mars in Aries is going to conjunct Chiron, which is also in Aries. So this is healing your true essence, because Chiron is in Aries, and Aries is all about our true essence. Healing your true essence with purposeful actions. Chiron in Aries, that wounding, it leaves them feeling like they don't have a right to exist. Something's fundamentally wrong with just who they are. and or they've been wounded so much by trusting in others that they're completely self-sufficient. This is going to be a topic that can be brought up on this day when Mars is conjunct Chiron in the sign of Aries. We are going to be taking purposeful action. Mars is giving us, it's going to bust those boundaries. I always use Mars as a boundary buster. Works. It really does. But it's going to give us the wherewithal to tackle some issues of wounding to our natural essence of who we are. Then on Friday of this week, I have to pause and say, happy birthday, Trisha. Dear, dear friend and a supporter of this channel like no other. Her birthday is Friday, so happy birthday, Trisha. I wish I could be there in person, but this year not possible. Anyway, we've got Mercury in the sign of Taurus is going to conjunct Uranus, of course, on Trisha's birthday. We have the most surprising news day of the year. This could be shocking or surprising news that just comes out of nowhere because this is Uranus. And in some way, because it's Uranus, it's going to free you up from something or validate your sovereignty. Again, your common Uranus theme. Then our big energy day this week is going to be Sunday, a week from today. Jupiter, which is in the sign of Gemini, is going to trine Pluto. We talked about this, right? We talked about Jupiter's given that expansion to Gemini, and now Pluto's saying, remember your authenticity in the process. You know, it's really helping us understand the power of your intellect, the versatility and curiosity for the purpose of transformations rooted in truth. It's got to be rooted in truth and authenticity. You know, release negative thought patterns or areas where facades just no longer work for you. Then on that same day, we've got the North Node in the sign of Aries, and which we just spoke about that, and the Sun and Gemini are going to be sextiling one another. Then the Sun is going to conjunct with Venus. Now, the Sun and Venus all week long have been very, very close to each other. And when they conjunct, Venus is actually be a Kazemi because she disappears into the light of the Sun, and then she'll reemerge after she has her reignition point or her renewal when she disappears into the Sun. So, goodness gracious, what does all this mean? To me, I love the feel of this energy. It just feels super light, very social energy. Again, we're dealing with Gemini energy here. It's ready to spark a very courageous new endeavor or some pioneerism, some cool thought that you had relative to communications, stepping into your essence, expanding your mind, perhaps. Jupiter and Pluto, you know, that whole trine is begging us for truth and authenticity. So make sure as you have these conversations this week, as you set intentions this week for any purposeful action, make sure that it's rooted in authenticity and the truth. Pluto's here helping remind us that that's a very good theme to have. Now, that's all I have for you this week. Early next week, we have Mercury is going to, as I mentioned, enter the sign of Gemini, joining, Venus, the Sun, and Jupiter. The pace, when Mercury steps into its home sign, the pace really picks up, I'm telling you. Words, we were going to be asked to speak the truth as Gemini steps into Pluto, or steps into Gemini and then trines with Pluto. So again, keep that in mind. Now, I decided to use the Animal Spirit deck, Kim Kranz, and I did it only after I pulled a different deck. I wanted to use, it was the Journey Tarot, and I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled, and a card would not jump out. So I'm like, okay, let's pick a different deck. Animal Spirit, sure enough, card jumped out. Here's the card that jumped out, which I think is beautiful for this message this week. And the book says, Black Egg, speaking from an authentic voice, the truth. I'm telling you, you can't make this up. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even little white lies. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true, When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in. Books draw us in. The concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what did I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear. We gossip. Or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. Excuse me. It is available at every moment, in every situation. It is the epicenter of truth, the birthplace of our voice. This card also speaks of the throat chakra. Please allow me to continue. This is a card that has an elongated theme. The black egg and the fifth chakra. The subtle essence of this card resides at the base of the throat, at the throat chakra. The ancient sages saw this center as the hub that governs our speech and expression. The throat chakra translates as essentially pure. The balance of this center is important for all of us, but is especially essential for writers, editors, musicians, and teachers. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please do click the like button. If you'd like to share this video with someone else, please do co-create with me and share it with them. If you want to know when videos are being dropped, click the subscribe button and you will be notified when a video is dropped. If you have any comments or suggestions, please post them in the comment section below. I hope you have a fabulous week of truth, authenticity, fun, excitement, and lots of communications. Namaste.